Hey guys and girls, welcome back to the channel. In today's video, we're going to break down my layout, how I day trade, what I'm using for indicators, and really just kind of give a quick, brief rundown of what I'm using each day whenever I'm taking my trades live in voice. As I trade every day, Monday through Friday with our team, I trade live in voice where I go over my entries, the setups I'm looking for, the levels I'm looking to trade, the price targets or profit targets I'm looking to take profit into, and all that good stuff. But of course, we want to focus on education. So this is going to be an educational type of video. LIFW, what I'm looking for is a 1 minute chart here. You can see the 1 minute back here. You can select that up top. Indicators will go to the invite only. I want to go down to our dynamic volume histogram. I want to add that. I also want to add the confirmation support and resistance. I want to add the key level spotter. However, this is really up to you, but I'm going to add it and I'll show you why in a minute. I want to also add the trend IQ down at the bottom. And I like the 1 minute bullish pivot pro. This is quickly becoming my favorite indicator that we have for quick trades. Now, that should be good. Everything's going to load up on the side. It looks a little crazy, right? You can adjust this. So this is the histogram down below. You can see that a lot of lines and levels and different, plotted information is now shown on the chart. And that's something that, if you prefer to have it that way, you can have it that way. I prefer not to. I want to eliminate some of this. So I'm going to go into I'll go into the key level spotter. So up here, I'll just double click. And I want to turn off pretty much all of the lines here. For me, guys, I don't use the VWAP much. I don't use the 1 minute 9 EMA. This is built for traders in our community as well, 1 minute 20 EMA. So these are going to be these lines that you see on the side. I'm going to remove most of these off of the chart. And the only one I'm going to keep on there is the 200-day EMA. So even though I'm on the 1 minute chart, it's still going to plot and show the day EMA, 200 EMA, which is this right here. So going to leave that on. One thing I want to do is actually make it a little bit larger so you'll see it kind of stand out. Right now I'm not actually seeing it, so maybe we can find a stock that we can find the 200-day moving average, as this one is obviously not being shown. So we'll take a look at that in a minute. Let's see, what else do I want on here? The enters oversold. I'm not going to have that on mine. Buy zone, no, I'll turn that off. Bounce watch, I will have that one on. And enters overbought, no, I won't have that on. Profit target, no. And the short watch, I will leave that on. Halt level, I don't want that on. Halt level low. And the ATR trailing stop, I'm going to turn that off as well. For me, I don't care for these signals. Going to turn these off as well. And again, guys, this is really up to you. We built this for many members in our community, so this is something that was requested, and a lot of these features are just been or have been added to this really, and you don't have to have these on. So just go through, click them off, and now they're off. And you can save this once you have it the way you want it. If you want to load it that same way, just save as default, but I'm just going to keep it like that, hit OK. All right, now we can see most of those lines and levels on the right have basically been eliminated. Now I want to go into the confirmation support and resistance, double click on this one, and I'm going to up the volume requirement for these historical resistance levels. So I'm going to change this to 50,000. So 1, 2, 3, and click off of that, and that's going to change some of these lines that we see on the side. And I believe that's it. I don't see anything that has changed, but this is now saying that these are heavily weighted resistance levels. So if we're getting up above this 177, I can look at 191 as possible resistance. Now, the 1 minute bullish pivot pro, I want to take this one and I want to move it to the front. So I'm going to click these three dots, visual order, bring to front. All right. And then I'm going to make this one come to the front, the trend IQ. So let's go ahead and visual order, bring to front. And there we go. And that's so that way the trend IQ is going to be stacked on top of everything so we can see it a little bit better. This is going to give a breakdown of what I'm looking for on the trade. You're going to see the stock symbol, the float size listed on TradingView. This is not always accurate. This is what TradingView is showing us. So that's what we can go off of. I like to compare that with trade ideas and other sources to really get a good idea of the size of the float. The trade type, so it's going to let you know if this is a quick trade, lotto type of trade, or is this, possible continuation. Now, just because it says continuation here doesn't mean it's going to give us continuation, but it means it has a greater potential for that as we've built that into the code. So it's going to identify that for you. Quick trades, lotto on this LIFW, as it pops up, we can see that pop and fell back down. We'll see what it does after, but right now it's kind of just in limbo. Major red candles. This is counting out of the last 500 candles, how many of those candles were major red candles we're going to see that 7 of those were major reds and 5.8%, basically 6% being the largest major red pullback, which really isn't that bad when we're talking low float stocks. So that's not that crazy. So that's something that we can factor into our strategy before we take our trade. We can say, you know what, maybe it's not worth full size, but it's not that big of a red flag. Extended price right now, it is not. If it was, we'd be seeing this alert change. This is not an extended price at this time. 1 minute volume, that's going to let you know the current volume on this candle. You can see that this candle is very small and doesn't have much on it. So that volume is going to be 1.69 thousand shares and right there, 69,000 shares. So you can see the 1 minute volume is here. We also have that on the histogram on the tag down here. So I don't really need this. However, I do want to be aware of the volume at all times. So I want to make sure that I'm aware that I'm trading with volume rather than these low volume type candles. The key pivot zone is going to be $5, so it's going to identify the key pivot zone that you need to get over before this is going to be considered for continuation. Until it gets above $5, it's going to be basically just choppy price action, and that's why we say quick trades and or a lotto possibility. Down below, recent highs 188. That's going to show you that right here. 188 is that recent high right there. So you're going to see that right there. If you're not, if you maybe have the chart like this or whatever it may be, you can see that, identify that at 188. The resistance through 570, again, it's going to identify some key resistance areas. So 570 and $5. So we know that if we have resistance all the way through 570 and all the way through $5, and the price is sitting around $1.70 right now, that is going to be a red flag. We're going to expect choppy price action all through the levels that we see above. We have the current resistance is 169, so that's going to be our first resistance. That's this one right here, 169. And we can see the current trend right now is bearish. It is down. So it's a bearish trend, and that's because it's below this current resistance. Now, one thing I want to do is turn on the color changing candles. So I'll go into the 1 minute bullish pivot pro, double click, and scroll on down, and you can see, let's see, the right here, dynamic candle change. So click this on, change candle color. Click that on and hit OK, and then I'll click on the chart, and we can now see, or should be able to see once it loads up, there we go, that now it's showing us the bullish and bearish trend based on the candles. So this is really going hand in hand with these signals that you see here. This signal here is saying that it is a bullish signal. So if I zoom in on this a little bit so you guys can see a little bit easier, this is showing a bullish signal detected. That is going to be our green bar there. And then once we see a bearish signal, which is right here, we're going to see that red candle here. So you can very easily see now bullish momentum, bearish momentum. Once we hit over here, this is it. If it can't hold the level, well, we can't trust it, right? And we're expecting choppy price action. Why? Because it's listed as quick trades and a lotto trade. So that is our 1 minute bullish pivot pro. One thing that we can do as well is change the settings on here. So we've got some pivot zone little pops here, things like that, but we can change the settings. Go into the 1 minute bullish pivot pro. I like to have mine set, instead of 1,000 shares, I like to have it set to 10,000 shares. So I'll add a 0 to that. Hit OK, and we may not see this one any longer. I don't think we will. So this may disappear, this pivot zone. And that's okay, because even though this pivot zone worked out to be a nice trade, in hindsight we can say, oh man, I wish I bought that pivot zone. It looked really great, great call. There was no volume here, so it's only 3,000 shares on this candle. So I would only get filled for maybe a few hundred shares at best. And so sometimes it's not worth the risk when we have that low liquidity and low volume, and those tend to have those wide spreads. So we now have really the way I like to have my chart. This is going to be the 1 minute chart. I like to also reference the 10-second chart. So if you go to the layout, you can add a different layout just like this. And now on this left-hand side, I can delete most of this. I will leave the Pivot Pro. I'm going to leave the Pivot Pro on there, and I'm going to change the time frame on this to 10 seconds. So now that means what I can do is I can reference the 10-second chart while I'm trading the 1 minute chart. So what I like to see personally is I like to see that the price is above this this pivot. So on both the 1 minute and the 10-second. So I know I have a pivot 181. I have a pivot at 169. If I double click on this, I can actually make this a little bit larger. And I just double click on the tag itself, or you can double click on the indicator to open it up. Go down to, let's see. We want this right here, extreme pivot zone options. So the zone signal size, nope, the extreme price label right here. We'll make this large, hit OK. We'll do the same for this one over here. Just double click. Let's see, that's the wrong thing. Right here. large, hit OK. And you can see that it makes this tag a little bit larger, so it's just easier to see. For me, guys, I'm getting a little bit older. I do wear glasses, so it is helpful to have it blown up like that. If you don't need that, that's, again, personal preference. But what you're seeing here is 10 seconds on the left and 1 minute on the right. I like to use the 1 minute really for most of my entries. However, if I'm trading off of the scanner itself, if something just alerts on our scanner, we just pull this up and LIFW just started alerting on this immediately. Well, then sometimes if I'm trying to get a quick trade off of the scanner itself, that's where I'll reference the 10-second chart. So when the 10-second chart gave this signal of a possible bullish signal, it was right in here. And it wasn't much because it closed above right here with, I don't know how much volume, but it went up maybe 3 cents per share. So really nothing there. This candle, again, had 11,000 shares on it, so very low volume. You can see that it just retraced back down. So this kind of, the volume that we see down below in red is not what I'm looking for. Typically what I'm looking for is going to be the yellow and green. So you can see on this 1 minute chart, we do have this one yellow bar here showing us we have some buy, volume here, but we pulled back and just really didn't get any volume after that. So we had a single candle that gave a little bit of volume. We can see that easily. And you can zoom out on the histogram itself. That's going to be down below. So this is the dynamic volume histogram. And you can see down here, when we had volume opposed to when we did not have volume. All of this red that you see, it's not really what I'm looking to trade. Typically, I'm looking for this green over here. And you can see that if trading in the green area, you can see that you're getting a lot of volume, liquidity, and able to get in and out of your trades fairly quickly. Now, this one, as you can see, only gave this small little trade before it then retraced back down and basically just was a short sell opposed to a bullish momentum. But again, we're looking for the volume. So more importantly, the example here is we're looking for the volume down below. So this is the volume I'm looking to trade. Of course, I want to use that in conjunction with our indicators. So I want to see the volume with that green candle like this one here. So I could take that entry, but really there's not much there. Once we see this pivot zone start to plot, we see this predetermined purple line resistance. That's going to be 10% up almost, 22 cents per share. Not bad, right? Nice trade, but that's all it gave. And then after that, it never gave another bullish signal. So we're not trading this one to the long side. Instead, you could short it if you're a short seller. You can see the red down here, and I'll make this a little bit smaller, the volume. But again, the volume can be as small or as large as you prefer. I like to keep it small because all I'm trying to do is reference the color of the volume down below. If I have my chart set like this here, if I have, say, PSQH, which had a little bit more volume earlier, if I have this down here, what I'm seeing immediately when I pull up this chart is, yes, I can verify we have a lot of volume because I can see that down below. Currently, we have 25,000 shares on this candle. I can see that immediately. You can now see it's 1,000 shares. That's because a new candle just started. So it starts from 0 and works its way up. We can see the tag there as it grows in volume. So does our tag. And we can see that we're looking for this to get above this resistance, but we also have a confirmation key zone, which is going to be from our confirmation support right here. So that's going to be our confirmation support resistance. That's going to identify that key zone. So you can see here, key pivot, recent high 820, key pivot 777. That's going to be right in here. That's the bottom of this zone. 777, if we can get above that and start to close above these levels, that's what we're looking for continuation, and then we can look at these levels above. So if we get above, we're getting some volume here. If we get above this, we're looking to hold. So even though we have this support now, we do have resistance here as well. So we could take this trade, but knowing that there's resistance, we want to take it with a smaller, possibly a smaller size here. So PSQH is now getting published. Let's take a look at this, and we'll see what it does. So we do have volume. We can verify that down below just by seeing that. Okay, we've got that green bar. Okay, so I don't really need to have that up. I can just instantly verify that, yes, I have volume down below. Okay, great. There is volume. Check. And now we're looking for targets above. I would say a target would be the short watch level 824, 815. We can see it then possibly getting up there. You can see over here on the left-hand side, we have filled the gap. So this gap to this level has already filled. So it is less likely that this will fill again. However, if we're going to get continuation, it's got to fill the gap. So 746 support for anyone who would be in this position. A lot of times a stop would be just below the 746. So I can put my stop somewhere down here. If it's a hard stop here in the after hours, of course, it would be a mental stop. And target would be 815. So if we're looking for this close above, here's your basically your bullish signal. This would be a 3% trade. Not huge, but that's what you're looking for. And if you do get a spike, you can see the short watch level up here at 828. and moving, and we'll be adjusting as the price adjusts as well. So we're watching this. We got volume. So we do have some volume here. So this should, in theory, hold up above the 746. It may pull back and test, but we're looking for it to then stretch to the 815. That would be a price target hit, and that's all predetermined, right? We can use this to aid us in entry and exit. Of course, use this in conjunction with your strategy that you have already to really identify potential setups here. We're looking for bullish momentum. This is that signal, and we're looking for it to continue. Otherwise, if you're looking for short entries, you're looking for those red candles, bearish momentum below the support of 746. Right now we're at 793. And this is really what I do, guys. This is, I'd sit here and I'd be in this trade, and, if it goes below this, I stop out and take a loss. It is what it is. There will be plenty of losses when I'm trading and day trading. I've had plenty of losses in my career. I'll have plenty more, I'm sure. And it's not really about not having losses. It's about trying to increase your probability rate, right? So trying to increase that. So as we pull back, as you can see this pulling back into this zone, it's still okay. Just has to stay above 746. If it can stay above 746, we're good. If we start to come below, so anything around 750 or below is where we start to get concerned. If we can stay above this, target is 815, hold into it. Now, some traders may add into this dip. Personally, I like to just usually go in full size. I will, however, sometimes add into the dip as well, but in this case, I don't think I would. I think this one just kind of gapped up over the level a little bit too much. So if it closed here or something, maybe I would consider it. But right now, it's 4% up from our support. So let's see what it does. And this one's on the scanner as well. We can see 4:30 is the current time. Over here, 4:32, and can see that it's hitting our scanner multiple times. So the scanner is identifying where the value is. It's eliminating the BS and looking for where is the stock that we should be watching. We can see that PSQH alert is 775, and now it just hit just under $8. So this is definitely the stock to be watching, but we want to, of course, use our strategy to make sure that we stay consistent. So PSQH pulling back, needs to stay above that support of 746. We can, of course, consider adding into the dip of 746. Regardless, target, or at least one of the targets, is going to be 815. So that means I'll be taking profit if we hit 815. If we can get above, I'll take either more profit, or I may just get out of the position altogether. Oftentimes, I like to leave a lotto, though. So if we hit 815, that's typically where I'd sell maybe half to 75%, sometimes 90% of the position. Hold a lotto for continuation, and then continuation is until we see another red candle right now, or another pivot zone here, which we are not seeing just yet. So we'll see what this does. Staying above the level, it gave us a little scare there, pulling back, but that's okay. We're staying above the 746. The strategy doesn't really care what we think, right? We're not talking ourselves out of the trade. Instead, we're holding on to the position because the 746 is our support. Major if here, if we come below 746, well, that's where we cut. We take the loss, we move on, and we look for another entry, again, over 746. In other words, it basically has to get over 746 and hold above that level for me to even consider trading this one to the long side. If it can't hold over 746, well, I can't trade this stock because it's not setting up for me in my high quality type of entry and trade with this bullish pivot pro. And you guys can see the indicators on the left here. So trend IQ, 1 minute bullish pivot pro, confirmation support resistance, and key level spotter. Down below I have the dynamic volume histogram. These are all in-house built indicators that we've built specifically for the strategy that we trade, which is momentum low float stocks. We're looking for high quality entries versus low quality entries. We're looking for stocks that are going to continue, not just give a little pop and drop. However, we will trade some of those pop and drops as well. We just want to make sure we're mitigating the risk by taking either a smaller size or sometimes avoiding altogether. So PSQH, it's basically just going sideways here. Want to see if it pops. 815 would be a target. Then above that, 823, 846. So predetermined levels for us to be able to take profit into. So I don't have to do any thinking, right? It's doing all the thinking for me. I'm just sitting in here and just waiting. Green candles are telling me, yes, it's bullish momentum. Yes, I can add as much as I want to. That's really up to me and my own personal account size, and if I have a cushion or whatever it may be. But I can always just hold the position as well and just hold it and look for a continuation. Me, sometimes I'll add, sometimes I won't. Really depends on the situation and where I'm at that week. And look at that. There's our spike. So just like that, guys, you can see the volume down here, 150,000 shares, right? Just spiked up to 150,000 shares on that candle. Hit our target, 815. Lock in profit, right? Now we're looking for continuation. We're locking in some profit there, taking 50% to maybe 90%, holding it. Now we're looking for 846 next level, and we're going to continue. Now, if we close back below, again, the support's all the way down here at 746. We start to come under 750, there is room for concern. If we can stay above 850, then, 750, then we're looking for a continuation. And there's our next target hit, 846 and 850. 849 is the high. Short watch levels moving up to 868, so it has potential to squeeze up to that 868 level. So let's see. And these are short sellers are moving their orders up. So you can see this now. PSQH just hit that 850. Again, second, third targets being hit. Not a bad idea to lock in some of that profit. You can see it's up 12% from that signal here, and we're just watching this. So from here to here, it's up already 7%, and that's if you're buying the close and not adding to the dip. So it's not the full 11, 10%, but you're getting a 7% trade in a matter of minutes here. This is a 1-minute chart. Now, if we reference over to the left-hand side, which it did not change, let me change this. So go to this and hit the symbol, so it will sync the symbol as well. We'll go back to PSQH, and that way both charts will populate the same ticker. If I go to the 10-second chart on PSQH, I open this up, you can see that it's also giving these setups on the 10-second. So 10-second chart here, same idea, 1-minute bullish pivot pro being used on this as well. Here's your signal. Okay, we get in here, we see our first pivot there, 1%, 2%. We're getting pivots. It did go up to about 3%, 20 cents per share, pulled back. Okay, we're back out. All of a sudden right here, closed above, 10-second move. You're all of a sudden, you're up again, 20 cents per share, 3% on it, and closed down below. Here's your entry again, here's your bullish signal. Okay, we're back in, and you can see all of a sudden we get to the top here, we're up 50 cents a share, 6% on that one. So this is a 10-second chart, so it's going to be a little bit more whippy, but if you're looking to use it in conjunction with the 1-minute, you can do so, right? So we can see that if I pull this up and look at this entry here, it is also, let's see, I believe it's this entry as well. So if I hover over this, yes. So this entry went above, and this entry went above as well. So 10-second above, 1-minute above gave us our setup. So really cool. So zoom out here, and we can see now we are getting those green candles. So green candles right here, pull back. Okay, we're out. Green candles. Okay, we hit that target resistance, taking profit, came back down. Okay, we're out, and now we're hitting this resistance again. That's going to be PSQH. We can see down here, again, verify that we have volume. Yes, we do. And that's exactly what we're looking for, guys. So I don't want to run this video, I guess, any longer than it needs to be. It's already 22 minutes long. However, I just want to break it down, guys. This is the beauty of this indicator. This is the beauty of these indicators in conjunction with each other. You can see it right there, the opportunity and you know what's happening. And again, PSQH is the only stock hitting all of our scanners. Just scroll on down. 775 was the first alert on this. And you can see that 775 all the way up to now, let's see, 855 highs. This is exactly what we're looking for. So low float momentum, only stock being alerted, only stock giving us that setup we're looking for, and it's continuing. Now, this could very well continue to squeeze. So guys, if you see this video and it's above 860 or above 860, please put it in the comments below. What high did it hit? When did it hit it? Because this could very well squeeze because it has that potential for continuation. You can see this right here, trade type continuation, and this is something to watch. So guys, here's the levels on it. If you want to get in on these indicators, we have these available at bullishboblive.com, and I'll see you guys in the Discord. Thank you.